We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and quite frankly, this one is long overdue. We have not had an update, if you will, on the humanoid AI-driven robot phenomenon in some months. And this is a field that is moving so rapidly that it deserves my uttermost attention, and quite frankly, yours. You know, we don't talk about the great replacement theory out there too much. And for those that don't know what the great replacement theory is, it's actually something that the United Nations is a big part of, and it is basically massive immigration into westernized countries by third and second world nations. Full stop. Full stop. And they talk about this for equity, cultural integration, et cetera, et cetera. But if others bring it up, they're bigots, they're racists, et cetera. Now, although I totally and completely know that that certainly exists, it's really not something I focus on, because the great replacement that I am concerned about isn't of citizens of one country or another, or people of one ethnicity or another. I'm concerned about the replacement of people, humans, our species, humanity in general. And that is truly the great replacement that we are watching right now with our very own eyes. Now, am I against technology? Am I a Luddite? Absolutely not. Am I against robotics or artificial intelligence in general? Absolutely not. Am I against automation out of the gates? Absolutely not. However, when I see the trend of what technology has been utilized for in the past, and that acceleration, not just into the future, but what we are seeing day to day, minute by minute, second by second, I am rather alarmed, because there is a subsection of humanity, of which I refer to as the predator class, that has every single intention of massively reducing the biological life on this planet, mainly humans, and replacing them with robots, servant bots. Sounds wild. Sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, and yet it is in their own white papers. It is in their own speeches. We have played many of them, and now we are actually seeing it come into fruition. And I haven't watched it in years, and I might need to go back and watch it again, because I remember when I watched AI in the theaters, and this was a Kubrick driven story, but it was directed by Spielberg. It felt like it was going to be a can't miss. I did not like it. Now, there were numerous reasons why I didn't like it. It made me feel uneasy throughout, but in a way, really, Steven Spielberg captured the essence of Kubrick, because when you look at his films, things like Clockwork Orange, etc., you have that unease throughout. The Shining, that unease throughout. I would say that, like, Full Metal Jacket is almost the exception to the Kubrick rule. That almost feels, although there is a lot of subtext, as almost like a straightforward type picture. And I don't know whether that's because we've been kind of acclimated as a culture for military pictures or not. But before I get into showing you the latest on these robotics, where they are, how they are being humanized, I also wanted to take a moment to kind of reflect how, as a society, as a species, we have been conditioned for this and to accept this. When I was a kid, and it probably vies for these two things, my first introduction to a humanoid robot, as far as I can remember, is either Star Wars with C-3PO, the comedy relief of this just wondrous epic that at the time there was nothing else like. I mean, captivated the imaginations of my generation and the generation before, for sure. And then to speak to my generation and the generation before, the other humanoid robot would be the Jetsons and their maid bot, Rosie. Okay? And although, that was kind of less human, as it didn't have the feet and it rolled around and it had the claws, right? It was very specific. It had that feel, and it interacted with the humans almost as a human itself. Now, there are literally hundreds of other examples. But for me, growing up, and the first time I can remember kind of absorbing this stuff, it would be that. Think about Lost in Space and Buck Rogers and just about everything Disney, etc. This kind of thing has now been hammered home visually, and forget about the novels, from Asimov and others and all those, for about a century, right? Like, you could look at even some of the films, Metropolis, that they just remade. Again, for about a century, this has been hammered home. And the reason I brought up AI is in the very beginning, and saying that I need to watch it, they show you kind of like this vignette of time where the robots are evolving to more and more human, and then you get into like this lecture hall, and one of the students is actually a humanoid robot, and it's just like seamless the way, it's almost like, if you look at that, it almost feels like the inspiration for at least the visual aspects of Westworld, also dealing with this phenomenon of what is consciousness, what is human, what is programming, what are loops, etc., etc., etc. So, we're going to get into this. We're going to show you the China robots. We're going to show you the United States robots walking around Detroit. And we're also going to do I think it's about 7 or 8 minutes with DARPA themselves, kind of showing you right now how the Atlas bot is perceiving things and how it's being programmed. I think that's important so we can get a look into the current consumer-led technology. Because Boston Dynamics is a part of DARPA. This is absolutely cutting edge for what we're seeing, but behind closed doors, it's not even ballpark. Hate to tell everybody. It's not even, this is what they're getting you ready. And this robot, we showed you, it's the spaghetti monster, right? If you saw the thumbnail, that's a pretty good, AI rendition after I threw a few prompts up and gave it some examples of the robot, right? But these things are not coming. They are here. So, went on a little bit of a jag, went on a little bit of a rant there. Thumbs it up. Subscribe, share. If you are new, ring that bell. Check out all the documentary films below, because if you haven't seen Invisible Empire. If you haven't seen Shade the Motion Picture, I would encourage you to watch it. I think they are as relevant, if not more relevant today. And if you really haven't questioned 9/11 or taken a look at 9/11 in a long time, Fabled Enemies and Loose Change Final Cut are a must-watch. Once again, to me, they absolutely hold up to this day. Please consider supporting the broadcast. I need you now more than ever. That is not hyperbole. $5, $10, $15. It does mean the world to me. Big donors. I want to thank Mike. I want to thank the random donor below him. Right there, following since AJ and Fabled Enemies days. That's 2008. We really do appreciate you supporting real alternative media, right? There are nobody who has their hooks in me. Nobody tells me what to say. It's funny. I got a bunch of different kind of flack for my last video on South Park, like I was holding water for Trump. Or listen, when Trump does something I like, I'm going to say it. I said he exploited Christianity, and that's not enough for some people. Some people actually believe that the Trump administration it got Colbert fired. No, they didn't. And for some reason, some people actually think that we should be paying our tax dollars to things like NPR and PBS that, literally have attacked me personally via Loose Change, have attacked candidates that I would have wanted elected. You got to remember, back in the Ron Paul days, before Rand, that Ron Paul revolution, do you think that those were fair outlets? They want to exist. Hey, I just don't want to pay for it. I don't want to subsidize any of this crap. It's crazy to me, but hey, that's all right. Like I said, we're real independent media here. People can say whatever they like, but I hope that you guys consider supporting me. Now, let's get into it. Before we get to... Actually, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play Atlas, and then we're going to show you the robot on the streets of Detroit. We're going to show you the Adam Sandler China robot as well. And I hope people really understand that although they're making these in the quote-unquote shapes of humans, they're anything but. And once more, people need to understand that if they were building robots that were going to empower humanity, they would not be shaped like humans. Right? They would have abilities we don't. Why give them human limitations? Bipedal limitations. Something like a spider, for instance, with 8 different limbs. Why 2 useful limbs? Again, it's not about empowerment. It's about the eventual enslavement of humanity. So here, right now, and we'll do a little voiceover. This is the latest. This is about a minute of footage of Atlas first. We'll do that, and then we'll go to the Detroit bot, which is right here. And look at it. It's beautiful. And then the China bot. So, again, still, looking a little bit rough on the feet. But we've seen these things run around. Notice it's gotten skinnier. Here's the run. There it slows down. Taking a knee. It's going to break dance for us in a bit. It's showing that, it can do like the bear crawls. Bear crawls are great for some exercise, by the way, guys. Okay. And it's again showing, oh, look, it can flip around now. Now, I would also say at this point, you blow off a limb on one of these things, and it's going to be very hard for this thing to get at you. But they are moving at such an accelerated pace. Handstand, notice how the waistline flipped around, unlike a human. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Got the moves. Got the robot moves. And then there's the cartwheel. Boston Dynamics, Robotics and AI Institute. And once again, those are integrated together because they have to be programmed. And AI is now like a catch-all term for a multitude of things. I hope you guys checked out that spirited discussion with the gentleman who wrote the book on basically he believes that the Tolkien books of the Lord of the Rings are really about artificial intelligence. And, he's a religious guy. And just the, I guess, definitions of words and the semantics out there he was really concerned with. So it was a pretty interesting interview if you haven't checked it out, but it's out there. Also want to remind people about the all platforms. I'm going to be posting another exclusive video over there today, but if you haven't seen the Tom Havland interview where he brings one of the Clotty Clots, very much worth your time. Okay, here we go. So before we get to the video here of the Detroit, we did some of that. Here's the Uncle Bot. Viral humanoid Uncle Bot wins China's heart with dad fashion and chill vibes. And there he's got the cool little robot dog, and people are calling him the Adam Sandler bot. By the way, watched Happy Gilmore 2 last night for a little nostalgia. Not great, not bad. Much better than like Dumb and Dumber 2. I'll say that. Had its nostalgic moments. Let's see. Maybe this will give us some of the video. Let's see what we got. Yep. So this is the big one here. This is. Yeah, it's so funny. It's a robot running down a hill. Now again, it's not just China. Let's do it. Let's play some. Are you not going to give it to me? There we go.
All right, check this out. Back now with Detroiters doing a double take after seeing a real-life robot taking a casual stroll along 7 Mile.
Oh no, the surprising sight was caught on camera, and it turns out it's all part of a wild event heading to Detroit this summer featuring robotic gladiators going head-to-head in combat.
But he was friendly with us. Right? 7 News Detroit.
That's what Will Smith said.
Reporter Carly Petrus has a story behind the viral video and who's putting these robots in the ring.
Imagine you're minding your own business and you see this robot walking down the street.
Some people were understandably concerned, even stopping in their tracks to meet the bot better known as Zion.
Hi.
People like Eddie Abro. He works on 7 Mile in Detroit.
Couldn't believe it. I've seen it on TV. I've never seen it in live motion, the way they're, it's walking and all that. It's beautiful.
The sight also causing Michelle Pryor to pull over and check out what was going on.
Looks like it reminds me of the movie RoboCop.
But this robot isn't part of a movie set. And according to its owner, Art Cartwright, it couldn't hurt a fly or a dog.
Why the heck is there a robot on 7 Mile? Can you answer that?
Because we're on 7 Mile.
Also the founder of Interactive Combat League, Cartwright tells me he's building and battling robots right here in the Motor City.
And this is really the only place that I can think of in America where you can actually see robots live, in person, real robots, right here at robowar.com.
The robot seen on 7 Mile recently, promoting the upcoming RoboWar event that's on July 19th.
It's amazing. It's for the family. Anybody can come.
But Cartwright's mission goes far beyond battling robots, giving kids in Detroit the opportunity to learn how to use this advanced technology.
Go ahead, Jacoby.
Teaching kids like 16-year-old Jacoby Wilson how to handle and operate this robot named Quantum.
What's it like to teach this next generation this new technology?
It's amazing. It's amazing, but they're picking up on it fast. I mean, you can just give them the remote, tell them how to do it, and they're learning robotics. They're learning the entire spectrum of it. But I think they're more trusting of new technology than some of the older people are.
Let's just stop right there. He would be correct. Now, my nephew, I think he's 6 years old right now. Might be 7. I think he's 6. Pretty sure he's not 7 yet. But he absolutely loves, and I mean loves, robots. BattleBots is his thing. And BattleBots have been around. Now, this is the next level of BattleBots. This is coming to Detroit. What I'm about to show you is what's already in China. So we're going to show you the robot soccer. And look, again, these are pretty rough at this point. But just because you're just seeing it in China, no, it's here in the United States, and we're going to see more and more of this stuff. So this is right here, some of the robot soccer that's going on. And again, like, fell on the back there, a little clunky. Fell down. Look, the guy has to run out, pick it up by its back, hold those by its back so they don't run over it. But they got these things going. Like I said, humanoid robots, man. They're not coming. They're here. Can we get the thumbs up? And it's so ridiculous. They're taking them out on a stretcher. Again, humanizing them. Let's get those thumbs up subscribe and share. And now, you just saw that those robots are about to fight. I'm going to show you some of the fighting bots right here. And it's a kickboxing match. It's almost like old school Rock'em Sock'em robots. And of course, you also have that Hugh Jackman movie where, they're the robots. Oh, he's up. He's back up. And so these are the China bots. And the next thing I'm going to show you, it should be also kind of alarming. And that is these robots. Oh, there he gets right back up. That can now do what? Well, they can put their own batteries in. So there's the little battery center. They walk over to it. They can do their own battery replacement. When you get to this level, and we're here, okay, it's not if, it's not even when, we're here. You have to ask yourself, what is this going to look like? I mean, it's not even going to look anything like this. The batteries will be smaller. They will last longer. And one of the things that I really want to emphasize here is, remember, they're constantly telling you about your carbon footprint and that you're using too much energy. That the artificial intelligence that is being commercialized right now for things like Photoshop and Google and ChatGPT, Midjourney, all that, it's using a ton of energy. A ton of energy. More energy than you could ever imagine. They're about to build massive data centers that are going to use massive amounts of energy. And then if you're running 24/7, 365 humanoid robots, can you imagine how much raw power that thing is going to take? Give me a break. Give me a break. All right. With that being said, I want to go to this DARPA. Well, it's Boston Dynamics. But again, when we're talking Boston Dynamics, mouthpiece and public workshop for DARPA. And the perception and adaptability of the Atlas bot, which we just saw. So you're getting an insight into, the wireframes. And notice, again, it's in a non-human position because that's not really like a torso and a head. But you're seeing it. Move it. Oh, well, let's just punch it right back in there. Now, this is a remote-controlled robot. It is not running on artificial intelligence. You can see... I believe it's the gentleman not on the keyboard, but over to the right in the background with the remote control. I want to make that extremely clear. Some of those robots that we were looking at before are obviously autonomous. But then again, you saw the ones in Detroit that are extremely remote controlled, right? So in a moment, you're going to go to one of the engineers. You're getting an insight. There's the operator right there by the camera thing, I believe. I believe that's the... And there, I believe, is his assistant. You're going to throw something on the ground. And the head's going back. Oh, it's a 360 wobbly head. Can you imagine what's going to happen when these things are advanced? So maybe this is autonomous. Maybe he's not being programmed exactly. Maybe he's given a set of goals. Maybe they just have a backup thing. So now he's going to put this back in there. Pretty creepy. Pretty creepy. Not going to lie. Now, ask yourself, how much more efficient is that than a human being?
Simple for humans, such as social or motor skills, are difficult for robots. Things are easy for robots, which is like large-scale calculations or large-scale data analysis, are very difficult for humans. In robotics, this is what we call the Moravec's paradox. This is because motor and perception skills were developed in humans by millions of years of evolution. In contrast, robots are able to perform these quick computations instantly, and they are a simple task in general, but complex for us because of our limited capacity and memory. Atlas's perception system has to be dynamic simply because we cannot predict the state of the world and how the world reacts to what we do with it. So imagine trying to find a remote in your living room with your kids and a dog running around. It's pretty much impossible. So being able to perceive these changing circumstances and adapt to it is key. Many of our viewers assume that we can just replay a pre-recorded trajectory to make behaviors in our videos. In reality, though, small imperfections and small errors accumulate very quickly to make what we think the state of the world is diverge from reality.
And you know, before we go further, you know, he talks about the Moravec paradox. We often have those clips of Dennis Bushnell on from NASA, and he talks about Hans Moravec a lot, and I believe it's the book Lights in the Tunnel. And, you know, pretty much talking about not only a transhuman, but a post-human future. In fact, even Bushnell himself says, if you read that book and you can sleep at night, I don't know what to tell you.
Atlas perceives the world by using camera sensors. It estimates properties and facts about the world, such as the 3D geometry of the environment around it, where the objects are that we care about, and as well as what are the possible obstacles that could, get in our way. This is achieved by a combination of AI and classical systems that are basically, working together.
We think this kind of sequencing task is a really good fit for a humanoid robot like Atlas, because it has the right blend of being just unstructured enough that you need the freedom and the power of a humanoid form factor to reach really low, reach really high, deal with a lot of environment variation. While at the same time, it is a pretty dull and pretty repetitive task that's both physically strenuous to do day in and day out. Solving this kind of task requires being able to do manipulation very reliably and for long periods of time without making too dramatic of failures.
So for a lot of these tasks that we have, the margins for success are very slim. For example, a lot of the fixtures that the cells that we need to stow into have like margins about 5 centimeters. And a centimeter here, a centimeter there can be essentially grounds for failure.
And by the way, look at that. See how he's got this attachment that's not like a regular hand? So once again, like I said, this human model is there to acclimate you. So I looked it up, and I guess I was wrong. Moravec, who's still around, he did not write Lights in the Tunnel. That is a book by Martin Ford, Automation, Accelerating Technology, and the Economy of the Future. Perhaps Moravec's in there. I'm pretty sure that's what Bushnell said. But hey, Jason Bermas gets things wrong. Let's continue on with this. And again, take a look. At least they're being honest about the fact that human beings can do certain things. But then again, why are you making them look like humans?
It's essentially impossible unless you have real-time perception running, because every time you carry something, it can slip in hand. Every time you grasp something, you may not always get the best grasp. So instead, if we have something running in the loop real-time that can help us adjust and adapt to these, that's where perception comes in.
Not only are the objects themselves difficult to perceive, but the way that they're in the world is difficult for Atlas as well. They're not simply on a tabletop, they're often shoved into dark cubbies that with only a small sliver of the object actually visible to the robot. And when we go to grab those objects, Atlas often blocks the entire view itself with his arm. So we have to do a lot of fun stuff to make it actually work.
There might be instances where you see Atlas might shift the object in a hand, as if to get a better glance at it. And if you tilt it upwards, a bit of light shines on it, and it works better.
So in order to be reactive to any movement of the dollies, either because they've been pushed or moved or not known precisely, Atlas needs to constantly update its belief about where those fixtures are in the environment. So one way we test that...
And check it out. You can see the wireframe right there of the objects.
That is by moving the fixtures on Atlas, by pushing the dolly when it's not looking or as it's turning around, and making sure that it can still update its belief correctly and get those objects into the right shelf.
So picking from the floor is one of the most dramatic examples of a way we'd like the robot to be able to handle kind of a catastrophic failure. If the object has wound up on the floor, something has already gone kind of wrong. Maybe the fixture wasn't exactly where we expected, so we bumped it when we were inserting the object in.
You just gotta love that full head rotation. Folks, I think that's going to do it. I think we're going to wrap her up right there. I do want to remind everybody once again to please check out the documentary films. Thumbs up the broadcast. Go check out the alt accounts, not just the X, although that would be great. You can also check out the Rockfin and the Rumble. $5, $10, $15. Big donors need you now more than ever. Again, there are no paychecks. There are other links down below. I do want to thank people like Phil who have donated through other means. And as always, you know the drill. It is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.